Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Brews and Reviews. It's Knowledge, and today I'm reviewing Hus Kingpin's new album, Portishus, music inspired by the band Portishead, and I am sipping on a Boulevard Space Camper Cosmic IPA. That's a 5.9% IPA coming in from the Great Brewery in Kansas City, and this has cosmic vibes just like this album. Let's get into it. Portishus. I was so excited to hear this album when I first heard about it because Hus Kingpin is a kingpin of the underground and he has never disappointed. And Portishead is a great trip hop group from the past. I loved their album Dummy, and that album in particular changed music. It was genre bending, genre creating, really. So many artists afterwards have been influenced by that particular project. With that expectation immediately from this groundbreaking group, it shows a lot of confidence on Hus Kingpin's part to come out with a project that was fully inspired by them and drawing a link to them. I thought before I heard it that the whole project may have heavily sampled Portishead, but although there are many elements of their music mixed in, that is not really the point, and it's really about a vibe or a sound that he's trying to catch that's very similar to what they did, and really, like he says on the cover, inspired by it. The homage even extends with this nice blue cover that he's got going on here. Who Made You Look? You can immediately feel the Portishead vibe with the dark, melodic, spacey piano and strings over the crisp drums. But it's interesting that he starts the album really with another homage. While we're getting Portishead in the music, we're getting a Nas homage in the lyrics and the title of this song. And Nas is definitely an MC who Hus was inspired by, and you can hear it all over his East Coast type of style. And this goes beyond just the title. Hus says on the chorus, "Who shot you? Nobody made you look. This is my arena, Gilbert. You shot yourself in the foot. Don't make me drop your name in this hook. Your bitch, she a slave to a page in my phone book." Beyond just the dope and funny wordplay that he's got about the incident of Gilbert Arenas when he actually shot himself in the foot and bringing that back into our collective consciousness, he also has an excellent flip of Nas's hook on the song Made You Look. My next listen after checking out this album is, of course, Portishead's Dummy, but right after that, I'm going to that Nas track off of Godson, and I'm hearing Nas say those classic bars. Made you look. You a slave to a page in my rhyme book. Barriers is a very short track, but still keeps the vibes going with a spooky, dreary sample looped in the beat. And what will be a trend on this album, we're getting no chorus, just straight bars from Hus. Meet the Poet, again extending the vibe. This track is just so chill with a flute looped really smooth over it and some nice vocal samples from a female humming that just adds to the chill, nod your head, laid back vibe that he's catching here that is straight the same vibe that we got from Portishead. The lyrics definitely fit that vibe. He's on some otherworldly, abstract stuff, and while we do get coke bars from Hus and we get fucking bitches and he's the best in the rap game type of bravado lyrics from Hus, we also get a lot of abstract poetics, and that is definitely one of these songs. Beth Gibbons, let's go. You know you're getting a Portishead sample on this one because it's named after the lead singer. And they even start out the song with a snippet from an interview that she did where she's talking about how boring she is as a person and no one wants to hear her talk. And the interviewer challenges her by saying, "But you sing to thousands of people." She sets him straight by saying singing is much different than talking. And you got to wonder if that's kind of how Hus feels, that he expresses himself much better through his rhymes, his bars, his art than he does just face-to-face talking or in convos. I think that's probably why he included it here. And on this, he's got more of those abstract bars where he's talking about a woman that whispers him sinister secrets in a trippy voice like Beth Gibbons. And I'm not sure exactly what he's getting at, but I got a picture and a feel in my head about it. And Beth Gibbons' voice is sliced and looped to serve as the chorus, something that's kind of rare on this album, but definitely works on this standout track. And he's on some dark storytelling vibes with this. He says, "I can show you where the dead lives, where the screams are repetitive. There's nothing like dead silence." The struggling, we get a little bit more of an up-tempo beat, but it still fits within the vibe of the album. Lyrically, though, it remains grim and morose to add to that Portishead feel, as guest L.I. talks about relieving someone of their various struggles. The next track is Belly. He released a little snippet of this with a clip from the movie. And this is another nod to Nas from the 90s classic movie. To me, if you love hip hop, you gotta see Belly. This stars Nas in a great acting performance, by the way. DMX and Method Man. It was directed by the classic 90s hip hop producer Hype Williams. And lyrically, Hus is on some Kingpin shit. He says, "I dog walk you, this is pet school. Sacrifice you in a night, this is chess moves. Diagrams in sequence, I checkmate crews." Those are some lyrics that Beth Harmon from the Queen's Gambit, or even better, the Jizza could appreciate. Killer's Quench, right about the time you might be saying that we need a little energy to this project. Cue the posse cut and some gruff voiced dudes coming in here. And I'm not a huge fan of Vinnie Paz, really, to tell you the truth, even though I do like some Jedi Mind Tricks tracks. Not a fan of him in particular. And I've never really heard Doza the Drum Dealer, but their gruff voices definitely balance out the smoothness that we've got from Wavo so far. Bar for bar though, Hus still wins the track, even with the other feature, Kingpen Slim, adding more smoothness to round out the track. The Gram Tape. Back to the grim griminess on the beat for this track. And I think we get another Portishead sample right after the first verse. And I have to say, they've done a really good job on the production of not just lifting everything from Portishead and putting these huge chunks of their music into the beat, which really would give a rapper something nice to spit over. They didn't go the easy route. They've masked the samples and chopped them up and flipped them in very interesting ways. I like it when samples don't immediately remind me of the previous song. And really, this is some of the best production on the album so far. Even though this track is under 2 minutes, there are multiple elements coming in and out of the song and introduced as the song goes on. And that's really some epic production for such a short song. And just as I'm praising some production as the best on the album, we get a new best with the track Ageless. And this was produced by C. Lance. And you realize that there's multiple producers. I think there's only one producer that has more than one track on this entire project. And that's really interesting because he's capturing the same vibe on all of these songs. And that has to be a testament to Hus Kingpin's ear, in that he was telling these producers and describing it in a way, or he was selecting the beats himself to fit into this concept, even though it was coming from all these different sources. It's really rare that you get something this cohesive and on the same kind of tip from this many different producers. And he throws an homage to another classic New York rapper from Queensbridge, and this time it's Big Noyd. He references his debut album when he says it's the episodes of Hus, word to Big Noyd. Dark Mourning somehow gets more ominous and foreboding on the beat, but a smooth bass line underneath all that eeriness. And after paying homage to Noyd and Nas, he actually brings in a guest appearance that's from that classic 90s QB New York grimy sound that they were creating there. And this is Big Twins. He was in the group The Infamous, and he in turn pays homage to another great QB artist who was from his era and crew, and that's Prodigy, when he says, "Since Prodigy gone, I ain't been right. Rest in peace, P." The Professionals, absolutely sick lyrics from all three MCs on this, but this is a rare occurrence for this project where the guests actually stand out even more than the chief artist. And the first guest spot is from Rozewood. He says, "Sharp as a razor that cut the coke that bought you a Beamer. Miss the summers where the money was cleaner. I'm an out-of-towner, same flow, respected by the founders. I'm a walking sunset, the gods is all around us." And then we may get what may be the hardest bars from SageInfinite when he says, "I got a cracked hourglass with the sand leaking out. No doubt, Mr. Infinite, you know what I'm about. Bouts with the devil." The Atticus play, they're letting the beat play in at the beginning, extended for about a full 60 seconds. And they also let the beat play out on this one. And they do that a lot. And I think that really adds to the feel, and it gets you in that specific ominous mood to hear these instrumentals going. Yet at the same time, it really feels like there's a lot of bars on this too. It doesn't feel like it's all music with just sparse lyrics. So very rarely can people do both, but Hus Kingpin did that here in 60 minutes. I think that may be because the choruses are very few and far between. He's not wasting any of this runtime with some hollow choruses, just these poetic bars that he has to get across to us and these chill vibes that he's got for us on the production. And speaking of poetic lyrics, sometimes I don't know what Hus is talking about, but it sounds so great and beautiful and poetic at the same time. Case in point, when he says these lines, he says, "Never seen an angel undress, left my sky unrest. If I could freeze a cloud around you nonstop, run the clock. That week before summer when the fruit begins to drop, beautiful tears like crying out the phantom drop." That's some abstract shit. Money, sex, drugs. Isn't that what we've been talking about? And yet so much more. But Wavo says that this is his portfolio, and I'm really getting lost in this beat. I love the different pitches of the vocal samples that are floating in the background. Although the vibe is broken a bit with a really fucking weird line when he says, "I role play, I dress up like Dr. Oz." All right, man, maybe you should have kept that to yourself and whatever woman that you're with at the time, but we probably didn't need to know that. Kool Keith, yet another homage. And this album that was inspired by Portishead was also inspired by some great New York rappers. And this beat, while meshing into the Portishead motif, also sounds like a beat that Dan the Automator could have made for Dr. Octagon. And I feel like the chorus is also spit in the Kool Keith, Dr. Octagon kind of style. Even as Hus says, a little octogynecology like Kool Keith. The Heroes featuring Ransom. There's a lot of guest appearances on the album, but this dude is definitely the next to blow. I'm just waiting for him to blow up. He's so sick with the wordplay. And you can tell by the way that he kicks off the track. He says, I was taught to live by some different codes. Admit I'm cold, but that's why we get these explicit flows. My shit is cracked to these addicted souls. A team player when I assist my bros. Residue on my sister's stove. Lots of double and triple end rhymes going on there. And really all three MCs on this, including Willie the Kid, are really on point lyrically. Chasing Ghosts featuring another great underground MC, Breeze Blowin' from Juggernauts. He delivers a stellar verse here while both of these dudes spit really eerie, creepy lyrics talking about seeing and talking to ghosts. And Hus says, I smoke alone and feel my chakra flush. I thought I was alone until I felt my goggles fogging up. The heebie-jeebies start. I heard the dead get offended by survivor's luck. But he keeps it light with lines like, I swig a bottle of souls, we sip spirits, I hope I don't offend. The Intruders, another track about straight bars. And this has more of a simplified beat than we've heard on other tracks for Wavo and guest Von P and Ty Farris to spit over. Shooter's Harmony, Spade Bangbino brings a bit of a different flow and the beat is a little bit different and the chorus is definitely different than everything else that we've heard on this. This is the first and only song really that breaks up the vibe for what we were feeling with that Portishead stuff. And I still like this track and I still like that it's included here, but it's just strange that it's the only one that doesn't really fit into that mold for what he's trying to achieve with this project. Sunkist Part 2, and Sunkist is Hus Kingpin's most famous song, and that was produced by Stu Bangas, who is also, of course, credited with production on this Part 2. And I don't know, this is very similar, starkly similar, so similar that it might just be the same exact beat as that. So I don't know if I would have called it Part 2, possibly just a remix, because it is featuring some new verses and some features from Wavo's frequent collaborator SmooVth, and from Nems, a rapper who I've talked about before on this channel, who is really impressive and puts a good verse over this dope beat as well. Both of these guests, as well as Hus, really continue to do this beat justice. This was a perfect mix. It was an album that advertised itself as inspired by a completely different group in a completely different genre from a completely different era. And he captured their vibe so well without stealing their sound or pulling too much actual influence from their project. It's very clear that although this is inspired by Portishead, this is a Hus Kingpin album and it's his sound throughout. Music is eerie and chilled out. The lyrics are poetic, hard, and chilled all at the same time. And we got 1 hour of music without a lot of changes in tempo, without a lot of mood changes, and without a lot of choruses, but it's still captivating at the same time. Lots of different producers, lots of guest appearances, but every one of them matched the vibe that Portis Hus was going for. That's really a testament to Hus Kingpin as an artist, that he can create his vision with all of these different people involved. This is the best album of the year so far, and I'm giving it a 9 out of a 12 pack. Check out the chill vibes of Portis Hus. Thank you for watching my review of Portis Hus by Hus Kingpin. If you like this, go ahead and hit like now and hit me up in the comments. If you didn't like it, also let me know why in the comments. I drop hip-hop and hops related content consistently, so until I see you next time, keep buzzing.